so nervous.
Oh, my guys.
Hey, baby. What the fuck was that?
I don't know. Just remember that when your mom takes away your skateboard,
You write a song about it.
you write a song about it.
Yeah.
And that's the way you got to live.
Yeah. And then you call yourself Sum 41 and you go on tour.
Right. Okay, let's try. Okay,
here we go. That was good. I like just listening to that.
Sorry.
No, you gave me some tips on what not to do. Okay, here we go.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Come on. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay.
Come on. What's the deal with Steve Bays?
Yeah, what is the deal?
Dude,
That guy's cool as shit, man.
so glad to have you back for episode 3 of the Poets Garden podcast.
Yeah.
You didn't think we'd make it this far, did you, Geordie? No. I know. You bet like $10 on it. All right. Okay, it's out. Everything's fine. I'm going to do totally appropriate. This is Steve Bays appropriate stuff right here. This is the Poets Garden podcast. I'm James, and I got a huge boner for Steve Bays.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
He texted him once.
More than once, actually.
Oh.
I'm up. Let me check. 18 texts back and forth.
Wow.
Well, he's only read 7 of them, but okay, here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Poets Garden podcast. I'm super stoked about this episode, Geordie.
Really?
Because this is like a 2-parter. This is like the Moby Dick of podcast sessions. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. This
Like,
is your
it's
white whale?
ginormous. Yeah.
Okay.
When I heard that Steve Bays wanted to come on here and do this, I was so stoked, but I was a little bit scared, you know?
Yeah, same, man.
Because, you know, this is...
I thought it was a hoax. I still do, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Like, was that really Steve Bays? We have no idea with technology these days. But no,
Holy shit.
he came out. He ended up being the sweetest, nicest, most humble, funny, witty, overly sarcastic guys I've ever met.
Awesome. I love the sarcasm.
Yeah, it was great. Like, you were doing great. You guys were just kind of riffing off each other. I was just sitting here perplexed, like...
I think he's like me in a way where you don't know if he's joking sometimes. You know what I mean? People have said that about me. They're like, I don't know if...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. What, you know what I mean?
Well, people say it to me all the time, too. Like, remember when you were sleeping and I was holding a knife over top of you?
Yes.
You woke up?
I remember
You didn't know
that
if I was
very
joking.
well.
So people say that all the time.
It was pretty early on in our relationship there.
That was a true story, too, by the way. And it wasn't a knife.
Our later relationship.
And to be fair, it wasn't a knife. It was a dagger.
Not that we're in a relationship.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, it was great, man. I just laughed like a little schoolgirl for 90% of this episode, and I had so much fun doing it. And when I edited this episode, I actually had to cut out some of my laughing because I was getting annoyed by it.
See, that's
so I apologize. No, it's because whenever I laugh,
people laugh.
no, because you know when you have anxiety, like when I laugh and I listen back to me, it sounds like a nervous laugh, even though I know. No, it's just because it continues too long sometimes.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know,
Gotcha.
but it's because I actually just tickled and I just cannot stop laughing. I'm tickled, Geordie. I'm fucking tickled. Don't fucking tickle me. I hate being
Me too.
Note to podcast listeners, James hates being tickled.
You do that to me in public, we're going to have issues.
Yeah, I'll fucking elbow you right in the face, man. Like, I won't even think about it. It'll just be a reaction. Someone tickles me.
Blow in your ear.
Yeah.
Until it hurts.
Yeah, like when I go to court and I'm found guilty of murder, they're going to look at the motive and be like, well, why'd you do it? I'll be like, he tickled me. Just like Emilio Estevez and Young Guns, hacking and tickling are the same to me. Emilio Estevez?
Hacking?
He's like, rumor has it you killed a man, Billy. Yeah, Billy, what'd you kill him for? He was hacking on me. No?
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it's in Young Guns. Check it out. Billy the Kid. Emilio Estevez. Mighty Ducks man himself.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho.
Incredible actor.
Dude, Steve Bays.
That's why we're here.
Dude, we're here for Steve Bays.
Look at all the cool stuff he does, like producing other bands. Been in one of the kick-ass rock bands of all time. Fucking...
Obviously, you know him from Hot Hot Heat, Left Field Messiah, Mounties. Well, he's a producer. He's an engineer. He directs music videos and films. Oh, Fur Trade. I always forget about Fur Trade. Sorry, Steve. Anyway, everybody, check out this episode. You won't regret it. Make sure you follow Steve Bays, and if you're a band looking to hire a really creative, awesome producer that doesn't like to follow the fucking rules, give Steve Bays a call, because he does not do what they tell him. Right, Geordie?
That's right.
All right, that's it. Let's jump right in. This is the legendary, one and only Steve Bays on the Poets Garden podcast.
Just check them out just to see. Oh, these are good. Sennheiser, very nice.
Oh, it made it work. Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Oh, brother.
Nice. So let me just check the compression here. Check. Okay, so it's still picking up back here.
Yeah, I have a little bit on right now. So.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Do I go head with headphones or maybe
Totally your call. Yeah. Your call.
Headphones do make it a bit more fun, hey?
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you want.
you know what?
You do you, man.
I'm jealous of your hair.
Oh,
That's
thanks,
all I gotta
buddy.
say.
Honestly, it looks like Shiza like most of the time.
Yeah.
But if I know like I'm gonna be doing something where it's gonna be documented, then I'll actually bother to like wash it and put shit in it and stuff. Yeah. But the rest of my life, like I wake up and my hair is like matted and dreaded all in one direction.
Cool.
Then I like try and pull it down and it won't, and it just looks like fried and frizzy and stuff. So
yeah, that's what happened to my hair. I used to have hair past my shoulders, and then it just got in this big dread at the back. So
yeah,
I had to shave it all off. So
I used to have an undercut.
Oh, nice.
And it was like down. It was so bad.
Yeah, I did that too. I had dreads on top and then shaved on the sides and back, and it maybe if I was olive skinned and tanned, it might have looked cool, but I was pasty, quite red, and very zitty at the time. I was like, I'm sticking with the dreads. I don't care.
Awesome. Oh, I guess I should do some sort of like intro shit or something, eh? Hey, welcome back to Poets Garden Podcast. I am James.
I'm Geordie.
And this is the Poets Garden Podcast. I already said that.
Yep.
So today we have a guest, a very special guest today. You may know him from his various music projects, including Fur Trade, Left Field Messiah, Mounties, or Hot Hot Heat. We have Mr. Steve Bays here today.
Yeah.
Welcome, Steve. Just AI and something.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It is you, though, here, right? Like you're actually here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Wow.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'll just paint the picture. I am obsessed with lighting, always have been, to the point where it's led to people pointing out that I'm probably on some sort of spectrum because I need lighting to be vibey and changing all the time. And when I'm in the room with people and the lighting is wrong, I can just feel that they're uncomfortable because the lighting is wrong, even though they don't know it. Anyway, so
how's this right now?
It's great.
Oh,
yeah, it's great.
I feel comfortable.
Like, I think there's an argument to be had for all different approaches to lighting. Like, sometimes recently I've gotten really into super bright lighting for chapters of the day. So when I want to be creative, I'll just bomb myself with crazy bright light.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas I used to always be low light and kind of dark and colorful and moody and stuff, which I still am at night. But anyway, I saw you on TikTok and I was like, whoa, these guys are actually putting effort into where they're doing their thing.
Sweet. Very cool.
It's all James, man. He's crazy like that.
Well, no, it's you too, because I would do something crazy and then I'd send it to Geordie, like, what do you think of this? So you were right there too.
You got to have a buddy. It's so hard to do things without a buddy that you can dork out on stuff with. You know?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Keep you grounded.
Yeah.
Do you find too, like when you go for the bright lights while you're being creative, just because it like makes you feel more awake, like, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in constant search for. I don't even know if it's awake. I'm just so aware of how much my ideas change depending on the lighting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if this was bright daylight right now, guarantee it would. This conversation would be very different for the next 2 hours, and it's like. You're kind of playing God if the lighting is good or bad, you know?
I like that. Yeah.
Interesting. There is a light you can tap there to make it brighter for yourself too.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I kind of like just kicking back and being the receiver of your decisions.
Very cool.
Of vibes.
Wow.
But anyway, so all that to say, my gal and I were just flicking through TikTok, and then was it TikTok or Instagram, or you post on both?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
And it was like, oh, these guys look chill. Oh, they're from Vancouver. And then she messaged you guys, and
yeah, that was crazy. Yeah,
that's what I thought was a hoax.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because you're at the beginning of your arc, but I don't know. There was just certain things in the videos that made me go like, oh, like in 5 years, these guys are gonna have like hundreds of episodes out, and
Sick.
I'll be stoked to be in like episode number 4. Where are you at now? I don't even know.
This is actually only 3 because we had a bit of scheduling difficulties, which is why I put you on the 18th, because I thought we had other people coming. But now this week we have 3, like you. And then Wednesday and Friday too. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy week, but it's great.
The only thing is, I'm already 3 episodes in. I'm already asking you to change your format. In that, I don't have anything to perform.
No, that's
all good.
It's supposed to be chill like that too, right?
One guy did two songs, right? So
I only recorded one of them,
right? But
well, if you want to beatbox, I can freestyle, but it'll be whack as hell. But
whatever you want.
Let's go.
There's no pressure at all. Like
we can do whack. That kind of
not so much crisscross. But
sorry.
That was no. I mean, that was like their big hook was wiggity wiggity whack. I can't even do it. And their pants were on backwards.
Yeah, right.
I remember I was in a band with this guy Matt when I was like 14, and we were like thought we were super punk, maybe 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. And then that Crisscross single came out, Jump, and they're all wearing their pants backwards. And then he shows up to school. I just see him in the distance. I'm like, no.
He did it.
And he was like walking. His pants were super low. They were backwards. Because
not gonna lie, I tried.
Yeah, oh, really?
So bad. I even got the what do you call them with the suspender things? Right? Like
overalls. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man.
Did you do one strap down?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That phase didn't last very long.
Were you decked out in cross colors? Because that was the brand. Remember?
Oh no.
Cross colors.
I was from Mission. I was cheap and poor. But,
from Mission.
I was only from Mission.
Straight out of Mission.
A crazy mother named Geordie.
Oh, see, look at episode 3. You're already censoring yourself.
I know.
That's good.
Geordie is the censor here, yeah.
Nice.
But it's good because I can just run my mouth about anything. So
I've got issues.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, it's good. I'm saying it's good to have you here.
Yeah, and like we can get into your issues. I don't know what it has to do with what you just said, but
nothing. Never mind. Sorry.
But yeah, by all means, let's dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Where does the trauma begin?
Whoa!
For you?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, you don't go there. Know that? No.
I'd be in that. Like, I'm an overshare. That's what my therapist has always said. Yeah,
I am too, and I just found out that that's a sign of something shitty. I think
like a personality a disorder or something.
Yeah, I forget what it is, but it's connected to being a people pleaser. It's in that camp.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I definitely am. Like I've kind of most of my life can be explained by me like making massive life commitments because I didn't want somebody to feel bad.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is just lack of self-esteem, I guess, which I can trace that back to somebody, probably an old babysitter or something, but an old goth babysitter.
Somebody from the church in my case. Yeah, man, it sucks.
Yeah, the church leads to a lot of trauma, I feel like, for people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a good discussion point.
But that's
I wouldn't say
there's plenty of podcasts,
thing, but there's
no, not in general.
I just know personally for myself or whatever, it hurt me. So I have a hard time trusting people now and whatever. So anyhow, this isn't about me.
Well, and I think like in my case, it wasn't the church per se, but it was more just an environment where there is like a strong delineation between good and bad. And so like with my partner Drew and I, we just had a baby, and like from day one, I'm just decided I'm not going to use guilt to herd her in the direction I think she should be going. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And to me, like guilt was such like it was like a parenting tool, you know, that people used. And but then I just grew up with a feeling of constant guilt about everything. So I think
I still have that to this day.
Yeah. So there's probably a people pleaser component to your personality. But it doesn't manifest in oversharing for you. I don't think.
I used to.
Oh, really?
Well, I went through a weird phase of like not talking at all. Like I was afraid of my own voice, so I had to overcome that.
Yeah.
But then I would overshare. And then I've sort of gone, oh no, let's go back to...
Right, yeah.
Would you be like...
So this is weird for me to be here.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Good. Challenging yourself to...
So thank you to James for getting me out of my comfort zone. You
I
know?
kind of forced him into this project.
I kind of did, but I'm glad now. It's just... It's hard. It's not easy. So I know what you're saying.
You're breaking the ice with that T-shirt right off the bat, which is sweet.
Yeah, like normally I'd just be all black and so I'm trying to like get out, like you know, like.
Yeah, I think you should get a custom shirt. I'm just thinking about custom shirts because my gal's been making them with like I got her this Cricut thing which makes custom whatever you want.
Well, sweet. Cool.
So she's been making T-shirts, and I'm always thinking of. What is something that's maybe funny but super personalized?
Yeah.
And for you, I think Lordy, look who's Geordie would be would be sweet.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Dude, okay.
Oh yeah.
I will buy one of those off her.
And maybe like a black shirt with maybe like I don't know, like a font that's easily recognizable, like Friday the 13th or like Stranger Things or something like that.
Okay,
you know?
yeah. Dude, that's so sick. Oh
yeah, let's do it.
Or maybe make it look super metal. So like at first it just looks like a Pantera shirt or something.
Oh yeah, you'd love that.
Lordy, look who's Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, okay.
I really wanted, when it was really hot in the media cycle, I wanted to get the late great Hannibal Lecter shirt going.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know about that, the Trump thing? Maybe.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Okay, yeah. Well, we don't need to go there.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, only because if we do, I will easily fill up like 3 hours without you guys saying anything.
That's all good. It's totally fine.
That's good with me because I don't like to talk. So it's awesome.
Oh, you love it.
Let's go. Dude. This is crazy.
This is crazy.
It's funny when you say let's go because we've been watching Love Island. And it's like, you know, because if I try and watch something that Drew doesn't like to watch, I can just feel her like boredom energy. Right. So it's the lesser of two evils if I just try and get psyched on something that she wants to watch.
Yeah.
Not because I'm like an especially great guy. I still drag her through tons of like weird, dark YouTube algorithm stuff. But anyway, so we've been really diving deep into Love Island season 5, and there's this guy named Bergie, and they clearly like. So there's all these hunks they like pick like the number one high school hunk from like every high school, and
right.
I think Slater.
Yeah, like it's a lot of AC Slaters and a lot of just very done up kind of like bar star guys and gals, and but then they got this one guy who's like the general manager at a Dairy Queen, and he's not really buff, and I think he's kind of ginger, and he's got like he's super insecure.
Oh, wow.
and I'm like
quite a departure from the rest of the story.
Yeah. Anyway, so the whole like I think each season is like 30 episodes or something, and even though no girl wants to date him, which would normally mean you get kicked off right away, they always find loopholes to keep him on. And he's slowly getting his self-esteem up because everyone sort of treats him like a bit of a pet project.
Okay.
And so they like give him a baseball cap, and like he puts it on like kind of cocked at a weird angle, and they're like, no, you can't just wear it backwards, like, and stuff like that. But his thing throughout the series is he figured out that people in the hunk community say "let's go" a lot, and they'll like the hunks will always be like "let's go," but he says it like always with the wrong tone of voice at the wrong time. So he's like at this like candlelit dinner with one of the girls, and it's like a first date, and she's like a billion times out of his league.
Yeah.
And he's like, so, where are you from? And she's like, oh, I'm from Southern California. And he just responds with a, let's go.
That's cool.
Oh, so every time he says, let's go, we rewind it. And she's like, oh my God, this is the best one yet.
That's great.
And then you'll hear the guys will be like, freaking out about something, like they were just told that they're going to some like Casa Amor, like, and meeting all these new girls, and they're like freaking out, and then you just hear them sort of knowing none of the girls are going to be into him, and you can hear in the background, let's go. I know.
I gotta see this guy now.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I swear to God, Drew and I are both like, he's the only one we would invest our heart into. Like, he seems like an actual sweetie. Mm-hmm. Whether or not it's because he has no other options for survival in the love game, whatever the reason is, he's still a sweetie. So I'm like, I'm all about Bergie.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
Go Bergie.
Yeah.
Let's go Bergie.
Yeah. Yeah, all the guys call him like Iceberg, and stuff.
It's weird how people do that, eh? They like, you want to, what am I trying to say here, man? Like
take someone under their wing?
Yeah, like Mean Girls kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like,
it's like how hunks try and like contribute like an act of charity.
Yeah, we're giving back to society.
Yeah,
but,
right.
We're taking someone that's a piece of shit. Well, actually, no, he's not. You just think he's a piece of shit,
right.
And we're making him more like me.
Exactly.
It's a great.
It's almost demeaning in a way. Like,
yeah.
You're an interesting guy to talk to. Wow.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? One word, methamphetamine. I swear to God, it's...
Not right now.
No, I'm just kidding.
I've never wanted to watch Love Island before, but now I do.
Yeah.
Never judge a book by its cover. Yeah.
Yeah, or a magazine.
Yeah.
Actually, that kind of brings me to a good segue here.
Yep.
Segue.
When Drew first messaged me, right, and I started, because like right away she said hot heat,
yeah,
and I was like, oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
So I started looking up hot heat, and I was scared. Like that was my first, like, oh my goodness, like we did not expect, someone that had all this success, actually reaching out to us too. So
I was,
Well,
yeah, but like for me, I was like scared. Like I was saying, okay, yeah, like I need to do this, right?
I get it. Like, I know I'm a dork, but you don't. And people always assume that if you're in a band that's had like songs on the radio, that you're going to be this like Axl Rose, like aloof prick or something.
Well, exactly. Right. Well, I mean, I wasn't having those thoughts, but for, I was just thinking like, I don't know this guy, but I know that he was in a badass rock band. So, but then like the more that I looked you up, the more stuff I watched, I started feeling more at peace because I was like, oh wow, this guy's like a total sweetheart. Like, thanks, so I just wanted to convey that to you. Like, and then as well, like me, being sort of that mad scientist with like music and stuff on my own, just here, but like, seeing all the stuff you've done on your own, like, and like that Left Field Messiah, I really got into that, and that Feels Like Summer song.
Yeah.
Like when that came on in my car, man, I was just like, holy shit. Like I texted Joy right away. I think I even texted Drew, like, this is so huge. Like there's so much space in it. But like the mastering, everything, because like I'm always listening because my own music, I'll master, like I'll make like 100 mixes, right? Just trying out different things. And so when I just everything together, it literally sounded perfect to me. Like I was just very, so it went from this, it went from like me being scared, like, oh, hot heat, to like, oh, this guy's a total sweetheart. And then it was like psyched, like, holy shit, like this guy's like a master. Like
like to me, that's what it sounds like.
Thank you. So, well, it helps having the other two guys are like they have like such a talent and skill set that is different from mine. So it's just that's kind of the fun of a band is when you're not competing for the same kind of creative headspace, and it's like you're just like, man, just go nuts in your space, you know, and I'll go nuts in my space, and then you go nuts in your space, and nobody is sort of policing each other, and there's like I've got the word yes tattooed on my leg because I'm such a fan of just saying yes, you know, and embracing everyone's ideas. And then because when people say no, it's like I always talk about how like the best idea you have for a song might be the 73rd idea, let's say. And so if you say yes to every idea and just try and like, you know, just go like try out every idea as quick as you can, then you're going to get to that idea that's the game changer, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And I also think a lot more ideas are unlocked when you're in an environment where people are a fan of what you do. And that was the same with Mounties. Like I'm such a big proponent of Ryan Dahl, like, and then I met Huxley, and like I just grew up like loving his music, and then we just once we started jamming together, we were just such big fans of each other, and none of us are competing for the same space on the album, so it's just like it was just a big love fest. And then whereas some bands they think like you have to be super critical, and I just feel the amount of ideas that kind of flow out of you just increases so much more if it's a safe space.
Right. Yeah.
And so like if I'll work with a band, I'll try and get them to sort of turn off that critical brain for each individual step of the process. And I'm just like, just know that the final result of what leaves this studio or my laptop or whatever, like when we send it off to Spotify or whatever it is, it's not going to be whack. Just know that it won't be whack. You're not going to sing like, you know, and then I'm like, well, so maybe reach for those notes.
I told her I should be on Canadian Idol so many times.
Yeah. So just reach for like the weirdest stuff you can reach for, and just trust that we will collectively filter out everything that sucks and just land on something that we all agree on.
Right.
And sometimes that takes like a day or 2 days. Sometimes it takes 6 months before you can unlock all the stages of the sieve or the filter, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But the main thing is I should probably top up this beer because is that cool?
Yeah. Take a break here.
And I'll just like I actually just have to go pee, but the beer thing would be cool.
Yeah, we'll just take a short little break and we'll hear from our sponsor, the Penny Coffee Shop.
Do you have a sponsor?
No. I'm going to force them to be our sponsor. It's just this little coffee shop that I love down there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just so you can get like a free coffee once.
Yeah.
James here. I'm outside the Penny again. Gonna make another ad today. Unfortunately, I gotta film this one by myself because apparently I embarrass people that come along and film for me. I don't know what that's about. Let's do this. Wow, look at this place. It's so cool. Hey, how's it going?
Nice mustache.
Thank you. I just grew it. It's a pretty cool place. It's my first time in here. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. You guys got really good merch. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Some guy on the street was like handing out these business cards from a podcast, and then he told me to come in here. He said you guys have the greatest like gluten-free brownies. So
Yeah, we have
yeah,
one right there.
perfect. I'll try one of those. That'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of a weirdo, but I don't know what he's trying to do. Perfect. Thank you so much for the brownie. All right, let's go. See ya. We did it. Did it again. Don't need you, Geordie. Oh, man. That was close.
I just wish that. Are you recording?
Yeah, we're good.
And the cameras are rolling?
Yep.
Wow.
Good to go.
You must have some decent capacity on those bad boys.
I wiped them all too, so. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I just wish one of us had a story about like a brother or something that we could get into.
Oh, yeah, Geordie. Remember that time that we had that day at Vaudeville Studios? But it was your brother's wedding like the day before?
We had won a battle of the bands, and then we got free studio time at Vaudeville Studios.
Yeah.
And then...
Wait, it was a big deal for us too, right? Because it was like, our first like pro studio
first
session.
time I'd ever been in a real studio.
It's a great studio. That's now it's called the Echo Plant.
Echo, okay.
Yeah, Ryan Worsley, he steals all my clients, but all good.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'll just edit that out.
Not totally kidding. Not kidding. But no, I am. It's Jay.
Yeah, my brother got married the night before our session was booked, and I decided to sleep it off in the parking lot until like 3 a.m. Decided to drive home and get the rest of my 6 hours of sleep before we had to be at the studio.
Sweet.
Went through a roadblock.
So wait, you slept 3 hours in your car?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's responsible.
Had a really good night though.
And your car isn't your like place, your residence.
No.
Okay.
No. What a funny question.
Just checking.
That's a good question.
You didn't clarify, Jordan.
I didn't.
Should've
I was
clarified.
going back to Mission to where I lived with my parents. So anyways, yeah, I got taken out of the car, and they impounded my truck, and then the police were very kind and they gave me a ride to the studio because I thought, well, just
wait,
bring me to the studio.
The police drove you to the studio?
Can I carry on? Because
how did they
you tell the story?
Because I know your perspective is great, but my
No.
perspective, okay? So I was the one setting
my
all
God.
this up with the band and the studio, right? So it was all good to go. So at 3:00 in the morning, the day of studio day,
Yeah.
I get a call from the police.
Okay.
And they're like,
Sweet.
hey, they're like, we're here with Geordie McKeag, and we're looking for the studio. Because back then, I don't know where it is now, but it was in this industrial park,
Yeah,
right?
it
Hard to
still
find.
is. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's the address. I'm like, but like, we're not there. Like, we're not supposed to be there till like 10 a.m. And then the cops basically hung up on me. And then I just turned to my ex-wife and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty sure Geordie's in some shit. So then I'm texting Geordie on the way to the studio. No answer. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I have no idea if he's going to be there or not. But he was there. You did show up.
Like,
Hung over his shit.
The police drove me home.
imagine a slow motion video of day one of recording, and like you have a police escort to the studio.
No.
They get out, they open the door for you, and you're just like,
That's the most rock and roll shit ever.
especially if your shirt said "Lordy, Lordy, look at Geordie."
No, yes.
Oh my God.
We need that.
Yeah. No, man,
Yeah,
that was terrible. I felt
Were you
so bad.
handcuffed when they?
No.
Okay.
Like they drove me to my house in Mission from Langley. And
What was in it for them?
nothing, man. I was just like,
It was
they were
crazy.
super nice.
Or did they just knock on your car door and go, "Sir"?
No. Like I went through a roadblock and they pulled me out.
Oh, right.
So
Okay, yeah.
they're like, "Give you anything drunk?" Yeah, I was at a wedding. So anyway, I was in my tux and everything, and like they drove me home to Mission all the way. And like
So you
I
were.
was like flabbergasted.
So they drove you because you were drunk driving. So they're like, "We're just gonna do you a solid and not
Yeah.
arrest you."
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was incredible. I was just totally open and honest with them, and I was still having a great time in my head, right? So even though I'd slept a bit, but yeah, I got to the studio in the morning, and then I pretty much slept on the couch for 99% of it until it was time to do my part. I got up. I sang my part. I played my guitar parts pretty quick, right? Like
Yeah. Oh, you did awesome.
two or
man.
So,
three
yeah,
takes,
not-
and it was
didn't
when I was
it-
back
it didn't-
on the couch.
Didn't harm anyone.
No,
Well,
it was great.
except for my pride.
As Cheryl Crow says, if it makes you happy.
It did not. Yes,
Words of the wise. But the funniest part was when that random girl showed up at the studio, who Geordie had invited the night before when he was drunk.
I don't think I did. I just told her what we were doing.
But she
And
managed
she showed
to
up.
find out where it was.
She went
Yeah.
to like 6 different studios to find out where we were.
Yeah.
And then she found us and asked to be in the song. And I'm like,
Yeah, she was actually a singer, and she's like, "Oh, like if there's time, could I get in there after you guys?"
Oh, wow.
Oh my god! Yeah, it was pretty.
Good for her. She's got a hustle.
yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely, yeah.
I don't have that in me. So this is, yeah.
I mean, you seem like a hustler, but okay, I'll take your word for it. Geordie, I think you are the perfect co-host for this podcast.
Exactly right.
Thank you.
I think your guys, like you guys, are not competing for each other's space, creative space. You know what I mean?
Totally right.
Well, I'm a guest here.
No,
As much as you are. That's how I figure it. So
you're kind of like the Andy Richter to James's Conan.
yeah,
Oh my God.
like I feed him dinner sometimes if he's too tired to lift his arms, or from all the editing and stuff. And
Right.
I'll just like kind of mama bird.
You know what the crazy thing is?
You
would do-
mama bird.
No,
And the crazy thing is, Geordie would actually do all of that if I asked him to. Because every time I've asked Geordie for anything, he's always been there. That's why this guy's my brother. Like,
Yeah,
exactly.
good guy.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you don't start a commitment to make 1,000 episodes of a podcast with someone if they're not a sweet guy.
or build the studio before a podcast has even happened at all.
You build it and they will come.
This is the truth,
Kevin
man.
Costner.
Yeah.
smart man.
Yeah.
KC,
anyways,
KC, baby.
Casey, baby.
I don't know. Is it
know that one.
Costner? Kevin Costner?
Oh, yeah.
I don't
yes,
know. I don't know.
yeah. Sorry, my
I just riffing and
I'm a little slow.
dragged it to a
I was-
halt.
I was
We're slow.
homeschooled for a bit, so.
Okay, I'll speak slowly.
Turn the BPMs down a little bit.
BPMs. What?
The
Beats
bad
per
jokes
minute.
per minute.
I love it.
You're funny, dude. Oh my goodness. I like it.
Funny looking.
Funny. Hey, man, I love that song, man. That Hall & Oates song, man. It
Oh,
just kills me.
wicked.
I can't get it out of my head, dude. Like I can't listen to it anymore because I like it too much. Like there's something about I don't know what it is, man. The beat, the timing of it, like I say, I went on that little deep dive thing, and I found a song by Hall & Oates called "Private Eyes,"
Oh yeah.
and they kind of do the Private Eyes
they
or whatever.
do.
And then I was like, wait, that's kind of like his song a little bit. Like, and I was
Yeah.
like, that's where he got it from. Like, oh my god! And then you actually say the line "Private Eyes" in the song, so I'm like, oh my god, I could have saved myself like an hour.
Yeah. I wonder, it was probably like we accidentally ripped it off and then we're like, okay, how can we not throw this song away that we just recorded? And so we're just like, we'll just make it seem intentional.
It's dope. It's dope. Yeah, it's not lost on me. I think it's cool. Anyhow,
I'm gonna write a song to the tune of Photograph and it'll just be called Nickelback. Next.
Why not,
look at
man?
this Nickelback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, I got to say, actually, that's when, like, because I don't listen to a lot of music, actually. Like, I think I spent so much time working on my own stuff, too. Like,
Yeah.
if I was listening to music, it was just my stuff, like the latest mix, right?
You're not crazy for being like that.
Yeah, it's just, you're just consumed with it. But so, like, going on this deep dive, since Steve Bays came into my life, right? Like,
Yeah. I did come into your life.
you did, yeah.
I came hard.
Oh, Geordie, censor him. No,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
You always
the
do,
guy
Geordie.
that's supposed to hit the censor button. He's had a 2-6 of vodka already, so it's like, fuck. And then like a minute later,
What is it? Watch your fucking mouth. Watch your fucking mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, we have this thing. If ever a guest asks if he's allowed to swear on the podcast, we start chanting that at them.
Nice.
Yeah, that's our
It
thing.
hasn't
but
happened yet.
You didn't
so-
actually ask that. So,
Oh,
anywho,
fair enough. Sorry.
What was I going to say though? Oh yeah. Since going on this deep dive, like all the different projects that you've been a part of, just hearing like how free you are to just do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like every song one to the next, just like the melody lines, the guitar lines, the synth, everything.
Awesome. That's so nice to hear. Well, that's what I was saying about your place here. Like it just oozes like freedom and like excitement and creative like pursuits. Like there's just like no one would be like, okay, so we're gonna design an apartment like James's apartment, and then we're gonna do the kitchen. We're gonna go for more subway tile, but the living room will be. It's like this. You have your own thing, and the style is just like fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. Basically, you know what I mean?
He's got a gnome village.
The gnome village, yeah.
Beep. You won't do what you tell me. Geordie.
He's got a beep. Yeah. Oh shoot.
Oh fuck yeah. I think I had a question that was coming out of that.
Oh well, you were just saying like the
freedom.
The freedom, yeah,
Yes.
which is really nice to hear.
Definitely. And like, so you're just like got all those creative juices, you know, you're just like, whatever, forming it all. And so I was wondering, like, do you kind of have like for me, I definitely have one song of mine that say, if no one's ever heard you before,
Yeah.
what's one that you would want them to listen to? Like, what's one that defines who, you know?
I think that's why I'm not more successful, to be honest, is that I've never like stuck around like a flavor I was trying to nail long enough to like be like, this is my definitive one. Like every single song I've ever worked on is sort of a reflection of a curiosity at the time that like, oh, I wonder if I could do something like that.
Okay. Yeah,
and I rarely kind of nail it, but it gets to the point where it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. Just let's, because art, you know, like the phrase, art is never finished, only abandoned.
Yeah.
And everyone will try and tell you when something is done. I'm like, nope, I will decide when I feel like it's done. And they could argue, oh, like version 17 was exactly the same as version 103. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not just about A, you're wrong.
Yeah.
B, you're an idiot. C, shut the hell up because I know what I'm doing, not you. It's like, it's sort of like you create a space and you just want to explore it and play in it. And then like even because I'm working on a record right now, and I was on the drive here, I was listening to multiple like mastering tutorials because I've been just these days, like there's so little budget that people end up just using my mixes with the master I give them. So I'm like, okay, I should probably like know what I'm doing a little bit more. Yeah. So and then the rest of the drive I was listening to some demos of things I'm working on, and I totally forgot what I was gonna say. What were we even talking about? Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna say, which is like listen. So one thing I've been doing is I'll export or bounce out whatever idea I'm working on at the time, no matter how rough it is or how simple. So sometimes it's just 20 seconds of like 2 layers, and then I'll be like, oh, well, I'll come back to this later. But then if I never do, then it basically dies on a hard drive. So I've been exporting every idea I start. And then the other thing is I'll put it in a folder just called Steve's Demos. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm kind of feeling good about myself, I'll listen to those back and I'll get really inspired and excited. And but it's funny, on the way here, I was listening to this song I've been working on called Women's Jeans. And at one point, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done. And Drew was just freaking out. She's like, just put it out now. I'm like, I haven't even written the chorus yet. Like, it's just like 2 parts, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just, it was, and then all of a sudden I just decided in my head, that's not my style. That's not my identity.
Okay. That
misrepresents me. Like, that'll look like I've gone back, like I've regressed and like blah, blah, blah. And I just get really in my head about like, and that's part of like, that's the hard thing about putting out music is it's kind of like a tattoo in that like once it's out there, it sort of represents your taste at that time.
Right.
But I kind of look at tattoos the same way I look at songs, though, too, which is like, basically, screw it. Like, just friggin', like, every tattoo I've gotten, I've decided, like, a minute before. Because I think if you're too much in your head, you just will never get a tattoo. And then same with songs, like listening to that Women's Jeans songs today, I was, it had triggered like a 2-week long depression in me because I went from being like, this is going to be the first song I put out, to like, I suck and I got to like throw away the playbook and like start from scratch. Like this album should show what an artist I am. But then like today I'm like, no, I want to be entertained. Like I want to throw on a Steve record and just be like, this gives me energy and excitement and happiness that didn't exist before I put the record on, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And to do that, you kind of have to remove your ego as the writer because, and that's why I struggle working with, really like artistic musicians a lot of the time, is because there is like a lot of ego wrapped up in and insecurity wrapped into their creative approach, because it stems from an insecurity about putting out something that might sort of paint them into a corner of being this kind of person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in a lot of ways, it's like, and that's why I work with all different kind of genres and stuff, because sometimes I just want, like, give me your files that sound like a friggin' Blink-182 song. Like, I just want to make it sound like a wicked Blink-182. Like, not everything has to be like Tom York B-side, like, you know?
Yeah.
And so I flip-flop because I want to challenge people, and I do enjoy when I hear music where I go, whoa, I've never heard anything like this before. What the heck?
Yeah.
But you can do both, you know, where you can entertain people that are just casually listening, and it just, for whatever reason, feels good in sort of like a Beatles kind of, you know, visceral sense. But then you can also sort of push the bar as well. But I think where I get into trouble and where I've done my worst work is when I think too much about the, like, things from my ego. Like thinking a lot about things is great. Like when people say, oh, don't overthink it, I'm like, okay, well, where do I draw the line? Like, tell me when to turn the tap off if you're the friggin' visionary here. Like, you know what I mean? Like it makes sense why people say that. But then I get pissed off when they do, because I'm like, everything good I've ever done has come from deep thinking and overthinking, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah. But if you're overthinking based on ego and insecurity, then that's like essentially a form of fear. And that's essentially in the no camp. Whereas if you can turn off your ego and just move in the direction of yes, and just what feels good, you know, then you're more likely to land on something that it's like a normal person would hear, and it would provide something to them.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you're too ego and fearful, and you're like kind of trying to dodge tropes and dodge labels and genres, and you're just like going really heavy into the art, you know, quote unquote side of it, then it's just harder for someone to put your music on and feel like it's giving them something. And at that point, it's almost like I'm listening to your album, but it feels like I'm doing you a solid by listening to it and by like upping your numbers on Spotify. Like, I want to put on music where I feel like it does something for me. Anyway, I'm sure I'll hate everything I just said, but I don't know. I'm just
so the opposite of Nickelback.
Well, but the thing is, like, I'm also like someone that their hits, like those feel like the songs that we like say Photograph, right? Like it just feels good. Like I'm sure you could do a PhD thesis on why that song just appeals to people, you know. And if you remove all ego and you don't attach like your admittal of I like this or I don't from like your identity, and you just scientifically listen to it, it's like it feels good.
Yeah.
Great mix, great chords, great, like the lyrics you can wrap your head around. It's just like, it's not hard. You don't have to invest a lot of brain power into appreciating what works about that.
Yeah.
But then you can also see when they were like, they got insecure about being bashed, and so they put out like a super kind of metal album where it's like, we're gonna be like crazy and proggy and do all these things that you don't think we're capable of. And it's like,
Right.
It's like, that's thinking from fear, and that is like, that's you looking at photograph and going, no, bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
That's so true, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so guilty of that. It
Yeah.
stifles my creativity hugely
yeah,
because I don't want to paint myself into a like you're saying.
I think it's more punk if you, like, even with Hot at Heat, like we started as like a just like almost like noise synth metal, basically. Like it was like, what if we did like crazy like kind of metal hardcore punk stuff, but instead of a guitar it would be an 80s Juno synth, like a Roland Juno 6 or whatever. And that was like enough variation that it would just tripped us out. But it was essentially just like math rock, you know.
Right.
And I think it was super cool. But then and it felt sort of avant-garde and fresh at the time, but then really quickly I started to feel like it wasn't actually that punk because people expected us to do that. And then at the time it wasn't really cool to sing melodically over kind of punk and indie at that time. Like now it's like totally standard, but so I was never a singer, but I was like, well, I'm going to try and start singing like kind of poppy melodies. And I enjoyed the challenge of the science of creating a melody that just feels, you know, good on a visceral level. And that felt like the most punk rock thing. And everyone that liked the first version of Hot at Heat, like, just freaked out and was so bummed. And they were like, oh, what the hell have you done? And all this stuff. But to me, I needed to rebel against my local music scene the same way I'm always kind of rebelling against myself as well, in that, like, if I've had a song that's done well, like on Spotify or the radio or whatever, I'm like, okay, well, whatever side of your brain that is, fuck you. I hate you. You're dead to me. And then I try and like reinvent the wheel, and I don't know. There's apparently Ice-T once said, if you write a hit song, just try and repeat whatever you did over and over and over, and like that will lead to success. And I feel like there's some bands that prove that to be true. But for me, like, my brain can't do that, sadly. And so I just kind of need to, I just need to keep exploring. Like I'm in constant pain all the time unless I'm creating, doing something creative. Like even when you guys, you know, like we filmed our baby eating solids today for the first time, and I like filmed it and then immediately had to like color correct it and like tweak the audio so it sounded nice. And then when I got here, I was like, what's your Wi-Fi? I need because Drew's like, you're gonna be late, you gotta go, you gotta leave at 12:45. I'm like, just let me, it's almost done rendering, and then I'll export it to my Dropbox. And then as soon as I got here, I was like, what's your Wi-Fi? Download the 3 gig file, make you guys watch this like baby footage. And then when you take your smoke break, I was like, oh, I got to reply to like a bunch of texts. And then I'm just like, fuck it. And then I open up my phone video editor, CapCut, and I import that footage, and I'm like, was already editing it when you guys were out there, because I'm just in constant pain unless I'm doing something like that. And it's probably a mental condition or something, but I've tried to sort of make myself more even keeled and balanced and stuff, but it's a lost cause at this point. So
Geordie's looking at me.
Yeah, I see a lot of that in you too.
Yeah, and honestly, like, you know, when
I spotted it, that's why I reached out to you about, because I like that little clip on TikTok, and I'm like, these guys are in my world. I can tell.
And like, you know how we say like the reason that we started this was because of depression is like, well, for me, that's huge, because I hadn't been doing music for such a long time. I don't know about you, but the only way I can actually escape my reality of feeling like I have to work on something is to watch something like true crime, something that's like kind of horrible.
Me too.
Just because it's like the only way my brain can shut off. And
dude, I literally was like, I gotta get a good sleep before I do this podcast. And then there was at 2:30 watching an hour-long video about this guy that like beat his child to death, and it was like a police interrogation about it. I'm like, why am I watching this? Like, what does this say about me? Exactly. But it's almost like you need to like disturb yourself so much that you forget like about the depression or something. I don't know.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Or for me, it puts things in perspective a bit too. Shit could always be worse, man. Like,
yes.
Like, holy fuck, you know, I've seen some terrible things on YouTube or whatever, like just, and I've sucked out things.
You sucked out.
I sucked out those things. That's messed up. Yeah, man. But that's it. It's true. Like, that's for me. So I think that's why I do it, is put things in perspective, because I don't see any point to a lot of life sometimes, right? So I'm like,
yeah, man.
You know. Anyway, but
no, I'm with you. Like, everything we do in life, I think, is like where we end up in life is how we've subconsciously steered ourselves away from depression or what ails you. Like, for me, it was I didn't know I was ADHD, let alone severe ADHD, until a few years ago. And it's like so much of my life's mistakes can be traced to just not knowing, you know, just making weird decisions because of this, like, without getting into like what ADHD is. And then also just having like depression, which often is associated with ADHD, or like a result of not knowing why your life is going the way it is, because, you know, and so it's like trying to avoid a sense of depression is what gets you into either an awesome spot in life or a horrible spot. Like, you could just as easily end up, you know, like ODing from a drug as you could become like absolutely obsessed with learning how to master audio. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same sort of like something's wrong, and your brain is looking to achieve homeostasis. It knows that you're feeling down and you want to feel up. So
we just want to get lifted.
Oh,
sorry.
Snap. That's Parker Bosley. It's Parker Bosley.
Sorry. Just throwing that in.
That's awesome. He'll be stoked that you...
I feel good. I like that song.
You have to pay for the rights now to use that?
Sorry, bud. I don't know how that stuff works.
He charges a flat fee. It's 50 cents.
Okay, that's not bad. Well, I'll send it in your licensed podcast too. Like, I am submitting my application to SoCan. So.
Oh, nice. That's rad.
Well, because some of the artists coming through here are registered, so I figure, might as well. So
I love even that you had like the form, like the questions and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like it kind of just made me go, okay, these guys aren't fucking around.
Cool,
but aesthetically, it looks like maybe you are kind of fucking around.
Right. What did you think of that question where I just ask if you're okay with like alcohol and tobacco and all that? Because Geordie thinks I should take that out. You think that's okay?
No, I think it's great. Because I do like if I was to say go on a first date, I would want to know where they stand on that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because then even like old pals of mine that reach out that I haven't talked to in 20 years, I'm like, let's go for a coffee or beer or
like if someone's sober, you don't want to put them in a place where they're uncomfortable, right?
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Now that
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus, Geordie.
Well, yeah, I'm used to it. So it's
he's been run over many times at this point. The police actually escorted him today as well.
Well, you guys want to take another little break here?
I gotta go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
The Poets Garden podcast is produced and recorded by me, James Donnelly, at the Poets Garden Studio in Mission, BC. You can subscribe and rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and almost everywhere else. You can also find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. To avoid potential legal action, the Poets Garden podcast is not sponsored by the Penny Coffee Shop yet. So next time you're in Mission, stop by the Penny for a coffee or a gluten-free brownie and say you heard about them on the Poets Garden podcast. Thank you for listening.